Well, hello, YouTubers. Hey, I got me another stick today. I'm getting it started on. It's fairly long. It's really too long, and that's good because I always cut them off a little. I'm going to clean it off. That means taking all the bark off and everything. And I'll be back and we'll take a look at it and kind of see what we can do with it. But it's got a large diameter up here, 1 3/4 maybe or so. I think I can do some carving on this one. Let's get started on it and see what happens. And here we are back. Got the bark knocked off of this nice stick. It's not straight, but it's not too crooked. Very long. I have plenty to work with, and it's dried out good, and there's no cracks on either end, so I can cut it off anywhere I want to. And I'm going to take probably a little bit off. Another curve starts in right there, so I may cut it off right there. That's about 10 inches off of that end, which would bring me down to here. Still too tall. I want it just about, top of it right in there somewhere, chin high, somewhere like that. Makes for a nice heavy stick like this. And it depends on what jewel I put on it. Yeah, it's going to make a nice one. Stay with me and we'll see what develops. This one is in the planting stage. This is going to be reserved for the hand grip right here. And I have an ornamental piece that I'm going to put up here. This mark right here, there's another boundary. And from here to here, it's going to be a dragon scale. That's going to be carved around there, and you're going to see that done on the bench. This is going to be rough the way it is. It's going to be smoothed out a little, but otherwise it's going to have all these marks in it. Let's go with that. Well, we may even meet back in the carving bench. You're going to end up, when you're trying to get some even marks all the way around, you're going to end up with a lot of marks on here, so try to minimize that. You may have to even go back and sand some of it off. But I'm going to see that one. And that one's somewhat darker. Let's bring this one all the way around. Get that first one. Just draw your spiral. Now the rest of them can follow that spiral from this line right here. And let's go down and watch the width here of your spiral. And you want it to go pretty close. Right here and right all the way around. And then about 90 degrees from that line, maybe a little less. Come on down, make your point. See that starting that point? Depending how pointed you want your dragon scales. This one, and right on around. Now this one, you'll start right here, and you'll watch that line there. You come down about the same distance. See, it looks like about the same width across here. And you're kind of looking, getting that about the same. And you're going right on down, and you're stopping wherever it goes. But see, now I've got that all the way around both places, kind of, sort of. Now the hard part's over. I'm going to get a bit in this. Let's show you that while it's in my hand. Cuts all bit. Okay. I'll have a video here where everybody can see it here sooner or later. Now what I'm going to do here, right in this point of each one of these is where you're going to go in a little deeper. And you're going to kind of go in deeper here and taper this out this way. And taper here, taper out. But you're going to turn this, go this way, go down deep, turn this way, deep this way up, and each point kind of go in there deeper and then clean that out. And once we get all this in there, then we're going to come back and clean it up. I'm going to use a different bit here. Going to lay that down handy. I can go in a little deeper right here, same thing. You go in deeper here, and you'll see I just go in deeper in each one of these points. Bang, bang. There's no point there, so I won't go there. And there's a deep one right there. I'll go in these points. So let's get that started and see what it looks like. Let me get my hat on here. Do a little bit of this on camera to show you how it's done. Real deep, right in here. I think what we can do now is get this other bit. I'm thinking this little concave here will work. I've got an alarm going off in my helmet here. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but that means the battery is about to get low and I have to plug it in. But you can knock these down in here like this a little bit. Got us some dragging scales around there just like we want. I'm going to sand this down a little bit, and once we get some stains on this, it's going to be darker up in the hollows here. It's going to look really good. It's going to look like scales. So let's get over on the bench, get this sanded down a little bit. We'll get it stained. We'll see what it looks like. Knock this down to get rid of these green lines I have on here. And I think I've got a little 80 grit in here, but I'm going to knock it down real quick. I'm going to go ahead and we'll sand off the rest of the stick, which you won't have to watch all that, but I wanted you to see how you put this design in there. Now you really can't see the scales in there yet. You might want to go back and get them a little more pointed or whatever, but you can clean them up, do what you want to with them. When you get the stain on it, it's really going to look a lot better. I'm getting ready to drill out this dragon egg, and you see it has a little dragon in there that's starting out, and I'm going to make this as a topper to this new stick I'm making. So what I want to do is get a hole right in the center of that, and that will go right on top. So to do that, remember I put in my jig, and I got to get it level here. And I tighten that up right there. Besides that, we put a 1/4 inch, and we'll see how that works. I pull this back. According to the old Evil Eye, that is about as middle as you're going to get. And that's pretty good. We don't want to drill through that little Diney's body there, and we didn't. We got a hole right in the middle there, and our dowel pin will go right in there. Yeah, I'm going to take my handy dandy little center finder here that I made on my plastic CNC, whatever you want to call it. But now we want to put that down there like that. That's fairly round. And right there is the center. So what I'm gonna do, hold this stick up. I don't know if I can see it this way. Yeah, I can see down. I can hold it straight up to the top. Put me a little punch mark right there in the middle. And that's gonna be right in there. Then we're gonna take and hold this down and get right down here and get us a hole 1/4 inch deep again with this 1/4 inch, same drill we used to go down in the egg. Okay, I want to get at least 1/4 inch. And I think I did that. You have 2 marks on here. You have the one here, that's the depth out of the egg. This one right here is the depth of the hole in the stick. So the difference between that line and between that line there is how much I have to cut off of it to make the total length right. So let's get that done, and we'll be right back over here. Mix up some glue, we'll slap it on there. Now just to review, have a hole in the end of the stick, have a hole in the dragon egg, have a dowel pin cut to length to allow that to bottom out in each hole and go down tight against the stick. I have 2-part JB weld, show that to you. Liquid, you mix that 50-50. You got something that will hold until the cows come home. There you go. And let that swell out to be, size of a 1/4 nickel, I don't know. But as long as you get them both about the same, I'm gonna let it kind of build up and see. I think we need a little more of this one. You want to get them pretty close. If you don't, they'll end up a little sticky, but they'll generally dry. Now, a little bit more. Now then, a red lid goes back on that jewel. A black lid goes back on this one. That way they don't set up on you. Now we'll take this ice cream stick, just mix it up real good. That's all I can say. That's probably good enough already right there. I'm gonna put a little, so it don't drip. I don't want to get anything on the outside of this egg. Trim around like this. Then I'm going to push that down in that hole. These lids off of your paint cans work just great for that. But that'll let it set in there. Now, so it stays halfway upright, and then I can get this down in that hole and smear it over the top of this. If that runs down a little bit, ain't gonna be no big deal. Now I get a hold of this, and I want to make sure that I don't get any epoxy on it, so I hold that in my towel here, and I force that right down on there. So you get that slapped right on the end of there, and then you can just eyeball it around there, and you can see there's no gaps in there whatsoever. Got a little edge there, but I'm gonna fill that up with paracord. It's gonna stay there. Well, here we are back. See, I have a little bit overhang here. We're gonna wrap from here down to here, and then from here down to about here for the hand grip. I knocked this down, slicked it up real good with 180 directly to 320. All the way down, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it has some markings going this way, all the way down the stick. And I thought that I'm gonna leave that right there. It's pretty uniform all the way down. So what we're gonna do first is open our golden oak stain. Do the stain first, let it set about a couple hours, and then we'll put the urethane on it. My tablecloth, as some might have figured out, is just rolled off a paper towel roll. But that's the story of my tablecloth. Now I'm going to get these open here. Now that's going on that stick, so I can just swap it on there like that. I'll get some gloves on my hands. What we're going to do is just rub this on. And we don't care right in this area, don't care up here because that's going to be completely covered. So don't worry about wrapping that so much. We won't go right up against that grain because that's going to have to be covered. But just kind of get it like this and get it nice and wet all the way across. And I'll come right on down with it, just like so. It's one of the many techniques that I have of doing this. You may have your own way of putting it on. This is how I do it. Right on down the stick. And I get it on pretty sparingly, all the way to the tip, all the way down. And I think that looks pretty neat. Anything that you think looks good on these things is the way to leave it. And that's my take on it. And I just wipe it down like this. It's going to be dry as an old dog bone that hasn't been chewed on in a week. All right, let's let it lay there and dry a couple hours. I'm going to make what I call a paracord nest. I don't know if I was the first to do this or not. I doubt it. But who cares, right? Now here we go. I'll go down until I run out of cord. I got 20 foot of paracord, and I'm making this kind of a brilliant green, almost looks fluorescent. But I find the middle of it, and you go over here, and you first tie overhead knot, pull it all through like this, and just like you're tying a shoe. And it don't matter which side of the stick you're going on, just tighten it like that, get it pretty tight, and then go to the other side. This is what might be important, is right across from that is where you want another knot. And I'm going to try to get it set up like that. And I want to pull this through and tie another knot. Okay, I get it real tight there. And then I get my CA glue out and I put a little dab of it right there and keep it from coming unraveled. Not going to come untied, but it's going to be slick up against there. And I put a little accelerator, that's the name of it right there. That has the CA glue dry just like that. That's dry. Now, I'm going to take your little cutters and I'll cut the ends off of this. And then I'll press them down in somewhere here and maybe a little more CA glue to hold that, and we got it. Okay, here's the ends now cut off. That's glued in there. That end, instead of left long enough, find you some ropes that crosses up here, and that's where you want to stick that. So bring this back over, take your little screwdriver, and get that started down in there like that. Take the end of it and get it pushed under there. I get that tucked in there. Then I get a little CA glue again, and I put a drop right where that went in. Now that's dry. Now I'm going to go over here and do the same thing. There it is. That's around. You don't see any knots. That dragon egg is sitting in a little nest right there, and he's just perfect. And I got down to this, where this scales are. I'm going to have a little different wrap, and I'll show you how we do that in just a second. Now the nice part about this wrap is that there's no waste. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First, I'm going to take the burner and we're going to burn the end of that so it don't fray off anymore right there. Kind of go like this. Keep from burning your finger. Don't find the middle or anything, just 24 inches here. And then you make a loop. You come down about, you want it to go past where you're going to stop at. So the hand grip's going to be right around that curve right there somewhere. So I'm gonna put my loop there. Then you come up here to where you want to start. I'm going to start up here on the green somewhere. Just like that. You hold that down. I'm holding my thumb right on that. Can you see where I'm at? Yeah. Hold my thumb. This is a 24 inches down this way. This is 100 foot back the other way. Now what I want to do is wrap this completely around. And the first time is a little rougher than the rest of them. Turn around like that. Now you've kind of trapped. See that? Don't need a thumb anymore because you've already, and start pulling that tight or snug. It'll get looser as you go all the way around. And one more time, we come over here. We got to move all of this. There it is there. I got 2 loops on that. You want this to remain straight down that line right there, as straight as you can get it. Now, instead of taking the string and going around it, you're going to start turning the stick. And I'm going to start turning the stick now, and you'll see this is going to stay. You can get a piece of tape and tape that down that end if you wanted, and you wouldn't have to worry about jumping around on you. But I'll just turn the stick now like this and go right on down with it. Every once in a while you look there. Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to get a piece of tape and tape that up right there. Okay, so you take a little piece of painter's tape, have that straight down through there. You can do that to start with if you want to, but I'm going to go down here into that loop and just wrap me a piece of tape around it. That's going to hold it straight where it belongs. Now I'm going to pull this all tight again because I stopped to do that. Probably a couple wraps there and get it, go back and make sure it's real tight. And then you just start turning the stick. Just like I'm doing here. If it's out around, just take that V-block out and you can turn it real nice. Don't worry about this end here. It'll wrap up on there and get out of your way. So just keep turning. You can have a little gap there. It don't matter. Every once in a while, snug it up. Cutters I got here. Now this is the first cut we've made. I haven't wasted really any there. That's still on the spool. Now what we do is take this tape off, and we're done with that. I can get it off my finger now. Now take this end and put that loose end in there, like that. See, it's in that loop. Put it right in there. And that's just the end of this. Simple enough, right? Now we take this end, this 24-inch you cut off, and you can bring it back, and as you pull, see what that's doing? Bring that loop down there. And then just pull this up a little tighter, tight as you can get it, and pull it a little more. Pull it again, tight as you can get it. Right there. Now it's right up to the end there. What you got to do is pull it until it goes under there, and it'll pull this end loop will pull that end back up and under there, make it real tight, and you won't have any knots, no nothing, no glue, no nothing. So hold the end of it against your tummy and just pull. As you pull, that will run up under there. See that loop went back in there, and that left that right there. Now what you want to do is pull it there. That should be it. Now I'm going to cut as much of it off as I can right here with the cutting my noose. I will cut it right down close. See that cut right there. Now I'm going to take my screwdriver and I'm going to pop this over just a little bit there. Get that pulled in such a way, situated in such a way that it don't show a gap in there. And you can play with it with your screwdriver until you get that done. I'm pulling that back down this way. I think we pretty well got it there. That grip is on there good and tight down here now. Now let's turn our attention back to this other pigtail up here, just like this right here. And we got that 24 inches we started with coming out. Now that's going to be your hand wrist strap. I'm going to tie some kind of a slip knot in that. I like to tie a loose loop in there where it slides up and down really free, and then tie another knot under that. See? Tie another one around that, and that way, right on down against that. Now you still got a loose slip knot in there, and I've tied several knots here to get this. But what I do now is get the old CA glue again, and I put a little CA glue on that knot up here to hold all that together. Now that knot, after I give it this spray here, that stuff's very cold. It don't hurt to get it on you, but see, that's dry, and that's not going to come off there now. And it slides up and down real easy. Now what I do, just for decoration, you can leave it that long if you wanted. I like to cut them off 2 or 3 inches. And I cut that off. That shows you how much waste we had, 6 inches at the most, right there. Cut that off, take my torch, take a grill lighter, cigarette lighter, match, whatever you want to do, and I just drilled the end of that so it would not come unraveled. You can put a little bead on that, you know, all kind of things. But now you've got a slip knot where you can slip your wrist in there, tightens up, loosens real easy. And I think we're done. Let's turn this camera around and do a review on this stick. Okay, it looks like we've finished another stick. Let's take a closer look at it. I like the ends either 3/4 to 1 inch, somewhere like that. Very easy to purchase for whoever buys a stick can purchase whatever rubber they want on the end of it. They make rubbers in various stores. They just plain, or they make them with stakes on the end, all sorts of ways. That's the reason I don't put them on and sell them that way. They come, you can leave them bare just the way they are. Some people don't like the rubbers on there. That just increases the price of them when you put them on. So there you have it for that. Now, I don't know if we can see that or not, but you see those little grains right in there? It's running this way, all up and down the stick. You got them Oh, there's more, see? All up and down the stick. And that's a result of that angle grinder. When I was doing the rough cut, it's turning around, rotating, it's leave those marks. Well, you can sand those out, which I do a lot of times, but this time I wanted to leave them in there, so I just took my sander, went over it lightly, and then I went over hand sanded again to get it pretty smooth. Now let's take a look on up. Take a look at the little dragon on the end of that. See him? I don't know, we'll hold him just right there. See that dragon? He's laying there about ready to be hatched. He's kind of curled up this way. He goes all the way around. There's his feet. But he's laying there, and that's a dragon egg in a paracord nest right on the end of it. Has some dragon scales you can see coming down this way. And that's just for decoration there. Further down, you have the hand grip right here. And I showed you how to put that on. That's a very simple and it looks real neat because that's all covered now. And your arm rest, you can put that wrist strap in there and it just automatically tightens up and it comes off real easy. You made that loose slip knot in there, see? Come out real nice. Let's get back and a little further and take a look. Lower this camera a little bit. See that? There you go. Now, as you're carrying this through the Renaissance Fair or anywhere else, it's going to be admired and you'll get a lot of comments off of this, I'm sure. So, yeah, I think that's about it for this stick. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this video and hit that subscribe button, because when we get to 15,000, and you're going to be a big part of that, because we're going to give away one of the sticks that I made on this channel, and you're going to have a choice of five or six sticks to choose from. So there you have it. That's about all I can say for this right now. Thanks for the prayers for my wife. She's still, we always need your prayers. And with that, I'm going to say, now don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I'm going to say, I'll see you in the next video.